Well, the day, I guess, has finally come, and I've been dreading this my whole life, and Poppy's here is my emotional support animal. But it looks like I'm 36 years old, and I'm starting to lose my hair. Poppy knows I'm not having a good day. Hi everyone! Today Poppy and I are here. She's here to kind of get me through this video. We're gonna get really raw and real, and I might cry, even though it feels silly to cry over hair, but I'm having a hard day as is. But you know, for so many of us women, our hair is just like so deeply tied into representations of femininity and identity and self-expression and confidence and control. And you know, I knew this day was going to come eventually, but I really just still didn't feel ready to get that word from my doctor that that day was here. So I'm gonna kind of give you a little bit of background about what's going on. Okay, let me take a quick second here to introduce you to my sponsor, Oslo Sleep Buds, because they have completely transformed my sleep routine. If you've been following me for a while, you guys know that sleep hasn't exactly been my strong suit. I have struggled with insomnia my entire adult life, so getting a good night's sleep has always felt like kind of a pipe dream. Seriously, if my sleep environment is not perfect, you know, temperature, noise, pillow firmness, you can guess that I will not be having a great night. But since I started using Oslo Sleep Buds, I am like a changed woman. These are not your average earplugs. First of all, they come in 4 different sizes with ultra soft silicone tips that fit snugly and comfortably in your ear all night long. As a side sleeper myself, this is huge for me because most earbuds kind of press into my ears and just kind of make things worse. But with these, I barely even notice that I'm wearing them. They're honestly that comfortable. Now, what makes these next level is how they tackle noise. Instead of just muffling sound, you use the Oslo app to pick sleep sounds that are specifically designed to mask common noises like snoring, traffic, or music. The earbuds also charge in their case and last up to 10 hours, so you don't have to worry about them dying in the middle of the night and then waking you up. Trust me, I actually learned that the hard way when I flew overnight to the UK and my AirPods died mid-flight, which kind of jolted me out of sleep. Never again. These are total game changers for flights and travel. And here's another amazing, unique feature. So you can stream whatever works for you and your sleep. So that's podcasts, audiobooks, meditations, and then the biometric sensors actually detect when you fall asleep. And once you're out, the buds automatically switch to the masking sounds. Then in the morning, they gently wake you up without disturbing your partner with a blaring alarm. How cool is that? Honestly, I am obsessed. If you want to upgrade your sleep game, click on the link in my description or scan the QR code on the screen to learn more about Oslo Sleep Buds. A huge thank you to Oslo for sponsoring this video, and here's to having the best sleep of your life. So I have a very strong genetic predisposition to alopecia. And even though I know that there's nothing I can do about that, I still feel some shame around it. I don't know, I guess growing up, I had just kind of convinced myself that, oh, if I eat all the right things and I take care of my body and I do this and that I would just avoid the fate of every family member that came before me. And that's, you know, welcome to Wellness Culture 101, right? Wellness culture teaches us that somehow we can avoid any kind of genetically determined fates if we just kind of come up with the right lifestyle. So yeah, even though I talk about denouncing diet culture and wellness culture all the time, I have been clearly a victim of that mentality myself. It's impossible to avoid because we want to have that control. Back in August of this year, when I was actually in the UK on vacation, I noticed my hair was just coming out by the handful every time I brushed. And I was going through something, you know, very overwhelmingly stressful personally, and And professionally, I had new theory, was going through a partner transition, and I was just about to launch my podcast, Bite Back. So I was super, super stressed. I was going into that holiday feeling drained, and I was feeling drained throughout the entire time I was there. So I chalked it up to just that, right? Stress. Stress does shit. But by the fall, I started to suffer from the most intensely itchy scalp imaginable. Like, I honestly couldn't even go to sleep because it was so debilitating. I just wanted to scratch my head all the time. And interestingly, there wasn't actually anything on my scalp to see. Like, it wasn't dry, it wasn't psoriasis, it wasn't flaking. So my doctor gave me this kind of like ointment called teromomotazone. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it fucking hurt. And every single time I put on my scalp, I was like, well, I guess this is what it's gotta feel like no pain, no gain kind of thing. But after about like a whole week of putting it on morning and night, my scalp got so angry. And I went to the dermatologist, and then you could actually see little bumps all over. And it was so painful to touch that like my kids couldn't even give me a hug. Like, I couldn't even go like this without me jumping out of my seat in pain. So then I went back to the dermatologist, and he's like, okay, I can see the bumps now. This is likely folliculitis. And so he gave me a very low dose antibiotic, which was basically serving more so as an anti-inflammatory than it was an antibiotic. But anyways, that helped. But it seemed like within just 2 weeks of starting the antibiotic, I wasn't itching anymore, and I wasn't like in so much pain, but my hair loss was really kicking up. And I was actually starting to very quickly see bald spots emerging, spots on the back now. And my hair just doesn't feel like my hair. This happened so fast. It's like baby hair. It's like what my kids' baby hair feels like or felt like. So I then went to see a trichologist, which is basically a doctor that specializes in hair and scalp health. And I actually went to see two, but let's start with the first one. The first one took one look at me, didn't even look at my scalp, just looked at my kind of like my hair and my hairline and things like that, and was like, yep, androgenetic alopecia, wildly heretic, it's a polygenic condition, and basically your genes make you sensitive to a hormone called DHT, which essentially kills off hair follicles. So normally we see this in men, we call it male pattern baldness, and that's when you see like the receding hairline, thinning at the crown until you just kind of like have that little stripe around, I don't know, your head. And in women, also, it can be seen mainly across the part of the scalp. So I was really unhappy with that interaction, to be quite honest, because I didn't feel like it fully explained like the itching and the inflammation, and also the fact that I wasn't just losing hair around the scalp. I had bald spots in the back, which is not male pattern baldness. So then I saw another trichologist who actually looked at my scalp using this special magnifying camera, and holy shit, it was gross. If you like gross things, I'm gonna show you a photo. If you don't, skip like 15 seconds ahead. Trigger warning, this is nasty as Basically, she saw a ton of sebum, aka oil at the roots, which could be blocking the hair follicles, I guess, from coming out. And oil is often caused by androgen hormones. So it is very possible that this is still hormone related. It still is, of course, the hereditary aspect, but she believed that what she was seeing, at least right now, was seborrheic dermatitis, which could very well possibly be secondary to androgenetic alopecia. But because I was kind of like early on and I caught it really early, that I might not be seeing the male pattern baldness quite yet. So there's still a ton of tests that we need to run to be more sure, but because I am genetically predestined to alopecia, we are basically kind of going at this to attack it from all angles, because I don't want to lose my hair. I'm only 36. I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to have to wear a wig. I'm just not ready for that yet. So I'm grateful, obviously, that I've caught this early and I am on it. Now, I want to preface this video here with the fact that I am not a doctor and I am certainly not an expert in hair loss. So the steps that I'm taking right now to hopefully slow this progression down are those that were explicitly recommended to me by my dermatologist and trichologist. AKA, I'm not just getting random information off the internet from blogs or content creators or whatever. So if you are dealing with hair loss, please speak to your doctor about the best options for you, because obviously we're all different, the causes are different. And what I'm sharing, you can use as kind of like a jumping off point to start a conversation. But basically, my family doctor said that hair loss is best tackled with a kitchen sink approach, especially if you want to like get on top of it, because kind of like time is of the essence in a lot of these cases, right? I don't want to lose my hair. And obviously this approach is not ideal because then you don't really know what works and what doesn't. And it's also very, very expensive as you kind of throw everything at it at the same time and not know what actually did the trick. But again, I'm trying to catch these follicles before they like die out for good. Okay. Come with me, I'm gonna show you all the tricks I'm pulling out. So, okay, first let's talk about nutrition. Because what's really important if you are experiencing any kind of hair loss is to find out if there's any kind of nutritional reason for that. So you're definitely gonna wanna talk to your doctor about doing some blood work, and probably like a pretty extensive panel. So everyone's doctor is obviously different. I can't remember everything we tested for. Definitely like CBC, ferritin, which your iron stores, whatever, a thyroid profile or thyroid panel, vitamin D, zinc, folic acid, CRP. I'm sure there's others that I'm forgetting right now. But anyways, basically they all came back normal. My iron was at like the lower half of the range of normal, which of course like my doctor wasn't concerned about, but I was like, okay, like maybe we can just try to get that up a little bit. So one thing I'm doing is I'm using my iron, this is an iron leaf, but usually it's an iron fish. I put this like in all my pots when I cook, and I'm taking just like a little bit of elemental iron just to supplement on days when I don't have, you know, maybe I'm having more plant-based proteins, or, and I don't, because you guys know I don't eat a lot of red meat. So yeah, just kind of try to boost that up. Now, the most important thing for me is just eating enough calories and eating enough protein. So I'm definitely aiming for over 100 grams of protein per day, which is really not different than normal. I'm just being a lot more intentional about it. And I'm adding a scoop of collagen protein to my New Theory shake, because we do have some research that collagen might help with regulating the hair growth cycle. So that's just like a daily routine of mine, just trying to find like little ways to like increase my portions of protein throughout the day in meals and snacks. Other than the elemental iron, I am taking like hair growth supplements. I've tried so many of them. This is Nutrafol. I have no idea if this is really gonna help me because of course I'm dealing with a genetic predisposition. But again, kitchen sink approach here, so it doesn't hurt. And I like that this has ashwagandha, which is generally helpful for stress. So it's probably helping me in other ways if it doesn't help my hair. As for pharmaceuticals, my doctor prescribed 2 medications, spironolactone and finasteride. And basically both of these are DHT blockers. So again, the idea is we want to block the DHT, that androgenic hormone that's causing the hair follicle to die and the hair to fall out. And honestly, the side effects have been rough. Basically, I had like the most debilitating dry mouth and like so thirsty and like waking up with terrible headaches. So very important that I've been like really upping my hydration, throwing my elemental electrolytes in every single day. That's really helped. And basically it's stabilized after the first 2 weeks. So I feel good now. I'm hoping I don't have to be on those forever once we kind of really hone in on what's going on. I don't know. A lot of people who do take DHT blockers do have to take them for life. So we will see and reevaluate. Okay, so let me show you the hair care routine. And admittedly, I have bought anything and everything that I see recommended. It's bad. One doctor will tell me to buy this line, another doctor will tell me to buy that line. I'm like, okay, give me all of them and I like mix them together into my own little cocktail. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I start with this Vegamore Grow Plus shampoo, and I'll put that in my hair and just like let it sit for like 10 minutes before I do anything else, before I wash it out. So it's kind of like a pre-deep conditioning treatment. I do it first because I want to condition my hair, but if I do it last, then my hair looks too flat. So this is just what I've found works best for my hair type. Then I've been doing like a super duper deep clean by mixing these two together. This is like this quote unquote detox shampoo to get like a really, really good kind of clean of my scalp. And then this is a DHT blocking shampoo that the doctor sold me. This apparently will help to kind of block that DHT hormone that's causing the hair follicles to fall out. And I give it a really, really good scrub with this. Also just like, it feels good. Then rinse that out. Then I do like another wash, and I've been combining this Vegamore shampoo. So this is like the hair growth shampoo. This is a volume shampoo. I have a bunch of them, but this is just what I'm trying to use up right now because it helps with my hair looking nice. And then I have to mix in some of my purple shampoo because I have blonde hair and I'm washing it so often, it's just killing my color. Then I squeeze out as much liquid as I can, water as I can, and I give my hair strands a coat of the K18 leave-in hair mask. I resist buying this for a long time because it was so expensive, but I saw, some people online like religiously recommending it, and I have to say, it makes my hair look a lot nicer. So it's been totally worth the price for me, at least, as I go through this transition. Okay, now let's get into some of the more costly stuff I'm kind of experimenting with. And I just want to note that I'm obviously so grateful that I have the financial flexibility to experiment with these things, especially since I'm not really sure if or how well they're even going to work because, again, this is my genetic destiny. But of course, speak to your doctor about their thoughts. But this is what mine recommended. So first of all, there's this. Power on. So this is a red light therapy cap. I want to say it cost me $1,000 and I'm supposed to use it for 10 minutes every single day. They were very adamant, you cannot skip a day. And we do have some early research on the red light therapy. So for example, this one review looked at a bunch of studies specifically on the use of red therapy, light therapy for androgenetic alopecia, which is likely what I have. And they found it did increase hair density and hair thickness after several months of use. So again, this is like not a quick fix, obviously. Nothing with the hair loss is going to be quick. Now, it's not entirely clear how low-level light therapy even works, but researchers think that it may help encourage hair follicles in the telogen phase, which is the resting phase of the hair cycle, to re-enter the anagen phase or anagen phase, I don't know, which is the growing phase, and then stay in that anagen phase for longer. And they also think that it may help prevent hair follicles from entering the catagen phase or transition phase prematurely, which is kind of when they die off. And then ultimately, it may also help to stimulate tissue regeneration and repair at the cellular level. Again, I don't actually know if it's going to work. The other treatment protocol I'm exploring and I'm going to try is PRP, or platelet-rich plasma therapy, where basically they draw my blood, they put it in a centrifuge to kind of isolate the PRP, which are rich in growth factors, and then they inject it back into the scalp. And according to a review of the literature, PRP does seem to increase the number of hairs and hair thickness, but ultimately it's one of the more expensive things. I think it was like $2,500 for 3 sessions here in Canada through a doctor. I'm sure you can find a cheap version somewhere in the States, but I always want to work with actual doctors when I'm doing literally any procedure, even my Botox. I don't even see a tech for that. And at the end of the day, it is cheaper than like a hair transplant or even a good wig. So I'm gonna go for it first. And other than that, it's just kind of like thoughts and prayers, I guess. I'm trying to stay optimistic and I'm trying not to stress because obviously the stress is not good for the hair. That's easier said than done, of course. If you've struggled with hair loss, I would love to just hear what worked for you, what didn't work for you, what was a waste for you. Obviously, we're all different. It's not necessarily going to impact what I decide to do, but no different than what I'm sharing. It might be a good jumping off point to bring to my doctor for his expert opinion. And that's exactly what I want you guys to do as well. But I will be taking regular photos and I will do an update if and when I see anything change. But a big reminder, I would love if you guys would just keep it kind in the comments. This is not easy for me to talk about. It's a sensitive topic. I didn't even want to bring attention to it because I'm doing my best to style my hair so it's not noticeable, but I would appreciate your compassion. And I look forward to hopefully having some good results for you guys. All right, I'm gonna finish this session here and I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye.